very much, Mark. We are just about to get underway at the Vitality Stadium under clear blue skies and bright sunshine. This 5:30 kick-off this Saturday in the Premier League. Bournemouth who won their opening home game back up in the top flight, but were then beaten away at Manchester City last week. 3 changes for Scott Parker. It is warm, but Parker Glenmurray is still wearing the cardigan, the fashionable tight-fitting grey cardigan with that very recognisable stripe on the sleeve. Doesn't matter how hot it is, he's not taking that one off.
No, he's not, but I tell you what, he wears it well, doesn't he, Connor?
He does. This is Arsenal in possession. They're wearing their change kit, the light pale pink. They are playing from right to left as we look down, and Gabriel Jesus is relieved of early possession by Adam Smith. Arsenal regain possession though and give it back to goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale, who's back on very familiar turf here, a former Bournemouth player. In his last season here at the Vitality when they were relegated, Bournemouth supporters named him their player of the year, so a big welcome back to these parts for Aaron Ramsdale. For the first time in his career he's played against his old club Bournemouth. Kiefer Moore challenges for a header against Gabriel. That'll be an interesting contest today, and the ball goes out of play just down below us. A throw in for Zinchenko.
Yes, I do expect that to be a theme of Bournemouth's play this afternoon. They've gone with Kiefer Moore and Philip Billing just behind supporting, but 2 very big boys. I think they're going to put the ball in the box and ask questions of Gabriel and Saliba.
Arteta's first game in charge of Arsenal was against Bournemouth. That was 2019. It finished in a 1-1 draw in the Premier League, and it's almost a completely different team now. This is his team now, Arteta's team. Still some of the promising youngsters, of course, from when he took over, but he's put his stamp on it. Here's one of the new signings, Zinchenko. To the left wing, to Martinelli, out wide, bandage on his left wrist, running up against Smith. Plays a nice ball to Granit Xhaka, who'd made a run to the edge of the penalty area. Back to Martinelli, 10 yards on the byline now, left-hand side, almost dancing over the ball, gives it back to Zinchenko, just outside the edge of the penalty area. Back now to Gabriel, and Arsenal in the early stages here are really pushing men forward. Saliba and Gabriel are midway into the Bournemouth half, and they're the deepest lying Arsenal outfield players. Cross from White, from the right-hand side, just too high for Gabriel Jesus, who'd made an excellent run, and Bournemouth are relieved to clear it away. Not very far though, Zinchenko has picked it up. Martinelli makes a burst to the corner flag on the left-hand side. 2 defenders come to greet him, and it's cleared away off Martinelli, and that will be a goal kick to Bournemouth away to our left-hand side. 2 minutes 40 seconds in, Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 0.
Yes, and that was brilliant movement by Jesus. Ben White puts the ball in the box. It's a little bit too high for him, but he finds himself in acres of space in the Bournemouth box, and that is something that the Bournemouth centre-backs need to keep an eye on.
Arsenal players are wearing black armbands today. It's in memory of Steve Baddock, who's passed away at the age of 58 after illness. Now, Steve was the much respected head groundsman at Arsenal. He was responsible for the pitch at the Emirates and also the 11 pitches at the London Colney Training Complex. A very popular figure, close friend of Arsene Wenger over the years, and the club in mourning for his passing in recent days. This is Ben White, who's been reinvented as a right back. He must be the tallest right back in the Premier League, but he has slotted in well there in these opening games of the new season. 3rd match in a row that Mikel Arteta has named the same starting team.
I think when you say Ben White, is a right back, I think it gives the option for the Zinchenko to just push a bit further forward on this left-hand side and almost play with a back 3 at times. So it really suits the system that Arteta wants to play.
He did well, White, on the opening game of the season, that Friday night match at Crystal Palace, when he was up against Wilfried Zaha, who we know is a very tricky customer for any full-back, and Ben White did really well up against him. Playing it at fullback, which was the position he also operated in pre-season. Here he is, not quite the most cultured touch you've ever seen. Hoisted over, that's a cultured touch. Controlled on the instep by Gabriel Jesus. Spins away from Lerma. He's still going, Gabriel Jesus. Now to Martinelli. Brilliant. Shot comes in. Odegaard will score. It's finished by the Norwegian, but it's created by Brazilian magic. Gabriel Jesus with twinkle toes. That was brilliant, Glenmurray. Martinelli helped him out, and Odegaard said, thank you very much. The side-footed finish. We haven't played 5 minutes yet. It's Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 1.
And that's what everyone's been waiting for, is Jesus to step onto the field and he has done. Wow, what a touch. He brings it down. Sensei gets the ball's high in the air. He's looking at it. Jesus just eases him out of it. A brilliant touch, and then he runs at 3 Bournemouth defenders, plays a no-look pass into Martinelli's path, and the rebound comes out to Odegaard, and Arsenal are 1-0 up, and that was so smooth from this Arsenal 11.
That was so powerful for Gabriel Jesus, so direct. He would remind you of the Brazilian Ronaldo there, the way he just bustled his way through the defenders. Delicate little layoff to Martinelli, and when the goalkeeper Mark Travers could only parry that initial shot, it was followed up by Martin Odegaard, who got 7 Premier League goals last season, and his tally up and underway now for this campaign.
I think the only disappointing thing of that move is that, unfortunately for Gabriel Jesus, he's not going to get any credit for it. It's not assist or a goal, but he made the whole thing.
I think everyone knows, his teammates will know, his manager will know, and it is great to see him with that number 9 on his back and playing in the number 9 position, because both for club and country in recent seasons at Manchester City, he'd become more of a wide right player. He loves being through the middle, you can tell.
Yes, he's been patient. He learned his trade at Manchester City, and then this opportunities arose at Arsenal, and he's took it with both hands. I thought it was going to be a good signing, but it could be turning out to be the signing of the summer.
Right, as things stand, Arsenal on top of the formative Premier League table. Manchester City will play tomorrow at Newcastle. They are the only other team who've got a chance of keeping it going into a 3rd successive win in a row. Tottenham won earlier on today to move top of the table. They beat Wolves. Harry Kane with the goal in the lunchtime kick-off. Crystal Palace beat Aston Villa by 3 goals to 1. 2 defeats in 3 games now for Villa. Everton needed a 88th-minute equaliser to make it 1-1 at home to Nottingham Forest. Fulham, another win for them. They beat Brentford 3-2, and it finished Leicester 1, Southampton 2. 2 goals for Che Adams, who hadn't scored in the Premier League since February. Here at the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 1. And Arsenal have got a free kick 15 yards outside the penalty area. Central location, Odegaard and Martinelli standing over it. Odegaard raising his right hand as a signal to his teammates with the yellow boots. He floats it into the penalty area towards Ben White, and it's headed away by Jordan Zamora, the Zimbabwean who's come in at left wing back this evening, and he clears it away over the halfway line. They're trying to pick up the pace of Tavernier. Good control though by Zinchenko, and he eludes Philip Billing too. And the cheers from the Arsenal fans, because their team has started this match very well.
Yes,
Murray.
They have indeed, and as we expected, Arsenal on the front foot early on at the Vitality here, and their fans are in full voice over on the far side, even though they can't see much because they've got the sun in their eyes.
It's a tiny stadium this by Premier League standards. 11,379 is the official capacity, and yet when you come here for a game it never feels quiet. There's always a noise. The home fans, the away fans, they make themselves heard at this stadium. By the way, match of the day tonight at 10:30 on BBC One with Gary Lineker, where you can catch all the highlights and the goals from up and down the land in the Premier League today. Gabriel heads it from the halfway line. Jumping is Marcus Senesi, the Argentinian, on his debut. That's his home debut here. He did come on as a sub in the last game, but that is a baptism of fire for him, being brushed aside by Gabriel Jesus and the build-up to the opening goal inside 5 minutes here. Senesi, who's an Argentinian international now, made his debut in June.
Yes, but he just got caught ball watching a little bit there. It's welcome to the Premier League almost from Gabriel Jesus. But just as this play is going on and Arsenal very dominant in the Bournemouth half, I just look at Aaron Ramsdale and I can't help but feel he's going to have a much quieter afternoon than what he's used to on this pitch.
Yes, Aaron Ramsdale, who has big ambitions in a World Cup year. Can he impress Gareth Southgate? A player who's been a hit since arriving at Arsenal. What had become a very much problem position for them for a few years, but they've got their goalkeeper. Still a few question marks over some of his distribution, and when the ball is played back to him, as it is here by Gabriel, and he does a little shimmy, Ramsdale, and then he launches it straight down the centre of the field, and he's looking for Gabriel Jesus once again. Jefferson Lerma's able to nip in, the Colombian who's making his 150th appearance for the club in all competitions. Bournemouth clear it away, but it doesn't stick, and time again when they do clear their lines, they're just giving possession back to the visitors Arsenal, who still lead 1-0.
Yes, we're really early in this game, still within the first 10 minutes, but Bournemouth desperately need a foothold because Arsenal, it's just pure pressure at the moment. They're controlling this game.
Good challenge there by Adam Smith in the right wing back position, ensuring that Martinelli didn't get possession, but Arsenal get it back with Gabriel on the edge of his own penalty area. Billing, who's pushing the furthest forward of all the midfielders, tries a high press, and Gabriel is able to get away from him. There's a header down by Mepa, but he gives it away in the midfield. Arsenal have it back again. Here is Ben White over the halfway line with long strides and the pale white boots in his feet. He's got Bukayo Saka available outside him on the right, level with the edge of the penalty area. Back to White to continue the run, pulls it back. Gabriel Jesus reacts. Odegaard gets Arsenal second. 2 goals in 10 minutes, and that was too easy. Saka and Ben White turned the defence inside out to get into the box, and then no one reacted. Gabriel Jesus teed it up again. Odegaard finished for his second, and not a defender flinching. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2. Scott Parker will not be happy with the defending there.
This is absolutely devastating from the Gunners. Superb play by this young group, but do you know what? I'm just watching the replay back, and it looks like the overlap of Ben White from Saka may just be offside. Let's just wait a moment.
Right, so we might get a VAR intervention. Slick move, really fluid and flowing. And they've got their little lines out, Glenn, and it's a green light, not a red one, which suggests that Odegaard, by the skin of his teeth, by his toenails, was onside.
That is tight, isn't it, Connor? Really, really tight. You'll be able to see it a match of the day. But you know what? From that point on, when it does get cut back, who's the first man on that ball? It's Jesus, lays it into Odegaard's path, and he just strokes it into the far side of the goal for his second goal of the afternoon.
2-0 Arsenal. So Gabriel Jesus will claim the assist this time, but you know what? Having seen the body language of the replay there, Glenn, he didn't mean to he wanted to shoot it himself. Odegaard has whipped it off his toe.
Do you know what? I actually watched his body language as his midfielder took it off his toe. As you say, he was setting himself there, but his reaction was very positive, and that's what is so important for Arsenal and Jesus. He's a team player. As he does want to score the goals, he will be the main goal scorer, but he's happy when others score as well.
Odegaard onto Saka. Arsenal cutting through Bournemouth's defence like a hot knife through butter here. Nepon's got to clear away on the edge of the 6-yard box, and all he can do is put it out for a corner. This could be a long, tough evening for Bournemouth here. 2-0 down already. A bit of collateral damage still lingering from the heavy 4-0 defeat last weekend. They need to all take a deep breath here and try to get things under control. Corner to Arsenal on the right hand side. Saka places it carefully. He scored against Bournemouth the last time these sides met. That was in the FA Cup a few seasons ago. Saka takes his time, a few steps backward. Plenty of movement in the middle. Bournemouth have brought all 11 players back into the penalty area to defend. Here it comes now from Saka, high, in swinging, headed by Gabriel, but away off target. And that is a goal kick to Bournemouth. It remains 2-0 Arsenal.
Yes, you mentioned there that the Bournemouth 11 are back in their own box, but you know what? The Arsenal whole team were in the last 20 yards of the field. They press and they lock Bournemouth in when they can. Very, very brave way of setting up.
Martin Odegaard, who scored in a pre-season friendly against Orlando last month. 2 goals here already today. Taken with a real flourish. The first a bit of a tap in with the goalkeeper having made a save and parried it into his path, and the second he launched it beyond young Mark Travers, and no saving that from Bournemouth's player of the year last season.
They were 2 very, very good goals, but I don't think he'll work very hard for either of them. I mean, they just seemed to fall on his lap, didn't they? He just sauntered into the box on 2 occasions and stroked it home with that beautiful left foot of his.
Yeah, well, you know a bit more than me, Glenn, about putting it into the back of the net. I'll bow to your expertise on that one. Odegaard in the right place where he needed to be, and a player he's really proving to be such a good signing. That child prodigy who came through at Real Madrid at such a young age. They paid a fortune for him. He's only, 15? And now look at him, and he's become a man now, and he's grown into himself, and he is the captain at Arsenal, and he pulls the strings, and he's got the 2 goals here. Ben White on the right hand side of the Arsenal defence. No easy pass. He's made a mess there, White, and it's been anticipated by Kiefer Moore, who now tries a little run on Saliba and tries to get into the Arsenal penalty area. Moore wearing the green boots, held up by Saliba. Ball goes out of play. Touch off the Welshman means an Arsenal throw.
Yes, Kiefer Moore was away there. He put the afterburners on, but you know what? Saliba was matching him stride for stride. Brilliant defending from the young Arsenal centre-back.
William Saliba, another who Arsenal have been patient with. He was signed a few seasons back. He's been on loan in France for the last 2 years, and so well did he do that he was named the French League Young Player of the Year last season. He's broken into the French national team. He's got 5 caps now, William Saliba. They have allowed him to mature, and now this is his first season in the Premier League.
Did you say mature?
Mature, yes.
He's 21.
Like a good French wine. He's not the raw teenager. He's maturing into the wise old 21-year-old now.
He does look like the real deal, doesn't he? He's an absolute specimen of an athlete. As we just saw there, he was wrong-footed by Kiefer Moore, but he's still matched him stride for stride.
Yeah, Kiefer Moore, who was big and burly, but Saliba stood up to him there and was able to recover. Gabriel Jesus beaten to the ball on this occasion by Marcus Senesi, and the new signing from Feyenoord, and the ball cleared away by Mark Travers, just high, spiralling in the air, doesn't quite get to the halfway line. Zinchenko will cushion it down, and Gabriel can turn and roll it to his right hand side to Saliba, who did get an own goal against Leicester last weekend. Arsenal scored 4 goals against Brendan Rodgers' team. They've got 2 already here. If you're just joining our coverage in 5 Live, 2 goals inside 10 minutes, both for Martin Odegaard. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2. Here comes Zinchenko over the halfway line. Seems to have plenty room to run into. Short ball back into the midfield to Granit Xhaka. Now Saliba, low along the deck to Ben White. White, who showed a great engine to go on the overlapping run around Saka in the build-up for the second goal. Real clean pair of heels for the big tall centre-back playing him at full-back position. Interception here by Jordan Zamora will win it back for Bournemouth, and he's going to try and clear it away under pressure from Bukayo Saka. You've seen a bit of Zamora, Glenn. You've been impressed with him in the past.
Yes, I have. He linked up really well in the Championship. He was one of their main threats down that left-hand channel, but today I don't think he's going to get out of that pocket much. I mean, I just watched Arsenal build up there, and usually Bournemouth press really well and organise, but 2-0 down, it's knocked the stuffing out of them, and that press is just a little bit fractured, and because of that, Arsenal are just playing through them with ease.
Challenged by Thomas Partey, close to the halfway line, deemed to be unfair. Free kick to Bournemouth. Their captain Lloyd Kelly prepared to take it. In fact, he's going to leave it here. And the ball is played by Ben Pearson. Pearson, who came through Manchester United's youth system. He was Manchester United Young Player of the Year back in 2013. Never made a senior appearance at Old Trafford. Been at Preston. Joined Bournemouth back in January. He's in the midfield with Jefferson Lerma, Tavernier, Philip Billing today. And they're having to work hard and not much reward for Bournemouth so far. 3 changes from the defeat at Manchester City last weekend. Free kick to Arsenal. They have it on the halfway line. Saliba, no pressure on him at all. Rolls it short to Martin Odegaard. Back to Saliba once again. Arsenal, who have got 2 home league games in a row after this. First against Fulham, who've had a very good start to the new season, back up in the Premier League, former club of Scott Parker, of course. Scott Parker has had such an eventful managerial career so far. Twice relegated from the Premier League, twice promoted back up to the top flight again. Here comes Saka. Did well to stay on side there, down the right wing, beating Zamora to the ball. Now he tries a little jink. Rolls it back to the arriving Ben White. There's no defender near him. White has a chance to steady himself. Chips it in, looking for Gabriel Jesus, and strong defending by Adam Smith. A little shoulder charge on Gabriel Jesus to ensure the Brazilian couldn't get there, and that goes out for a goal kick to Bournemouth, who trail here by 2 goals to 0.
Yeah, it's clever defending there from Adam Smith on the back stick there. Gabriel Jesus was just watching that ball as it floated over. I think he was going to jump, but just about take off. Smith just knocks him. A little bit of experience looking after his goal.
Excellent control by Kiefer Moore to get the ball ahead of Gabriel, and now he runs towards the Arsenal penalty area. Ben White got back goal side and held him up. Here comes Zamora to offer support on the left-hand side. Bournemouth could really do with a spell of possession inside their opponent's half here. They've been nowhere near Ramsdale's penalty area so far in the game. This is Chris Mepham, the Welsh international, short to the feet of Adam Smith. Back to Mepham once again. Pressure from Martinelli. They'll try and work it through the midfield here, Bournemouth. Pearson to Lerma, back to Smith. plays it forward, difficult one for Tavernier to control, and Partey's in to try and win it back, and in his frustration there, Tavernier commits a foul on Thomas Partey, and it's a free kick to Arsenal, and they take it quickly, and here comes Odegaard once again, rolling it out accurately to the feet of Bukayo Saka, attacking the penalty area, challenged by Zamora, and applause for the Bournemouth fans as Zamora wins it off Saka, but good industry from the England international, and Bukayo Saka works hard to win it back for his team once again. Glenn Murray.
And we see Keeper Moore fighting away up front on his own for Bournemouth, and to be honest, he's doing quite a good job of it because he's not got much help up there, has he?
Keeper Moore, he's treading a lonely path, and he's been surrounded by Saliba and Gabriel and Ben White whenever the ball has come to him. Here is Gabriel Jesus flicking it, pushed in the back by Mepham, and that is a free kick for a quite blatant foul by the Bournemouth central defender. Free kick to Arsenal midway inside the Bournemouth half. Gabriel Jesus, who's averaged a goal a game so far in the Premier League for his new club.
I think now, 20 minutes into this game, it's about Scott Parker's men staying in the game. I know they're 2-0 down, but it's critical they keep it at 2-0 or try and get a goal back before half-time. Stay in the game, keep the game alive. If you let a third in, I think it's dead and buried.
Odegaard and Martinelli played a free kick short between them. Odegaard now scurries down the left wing, tries to cross, and it's been blocked away by Ben Pearson, and that goes out down by the corner flag. And did it go for a throw-in, or it's going to be a corner? Corner for Arsenal. Left-hand side as they come forward, and again they push everyone up there, and that forces Bournemouth to bring everyone back. Arsenal playing right to left as we look down here at the Vitality Stadium. We have played just over 20 minutes. 2-0 Arsenal. Martinelli's delivery towards the front post, flicked on by Partey. Ben Pearson behind him is able to flick it away, but only out as far as Martinelli, who had taken the corner and has it again here on the left-hand side. He's level with the edge of the penalty area. Has a little charge forward. Takes on Senesi, tries to cross. Last touch comes off the Argentinian, and it's another corner to Arsenal again.
Yes, he's looking like a real threat this year, Martinelli. He's really found his feet at this level, and one thing I'm really impressed with Arsenal is that understanding between that front four, Saka, Jesus and Martinelli, Odegaard. They all link in really well, very fluid in their transitions.
8 goals now for Arsenal in their 2.25 games they've played so far in the Premier League this season. Gabriel Jesus jumps and wins ahead of the back post there where the corner came in. Saka shoots, came off the upper body of a Bournemouth defender. I think it was a stomach, not an arm. Chance of a counter-attack. Tavernier, who's quick, in a sprint up against Zinchenko, who uses all his experience there. The Ukrainian, what a ball that is, over the top, looking for Martinelli, just too far ahead of him, and it runs through to Mark Travers. So Bournemouth trying to launch a counter-attack there, and then immediately Arsenal getting back in behind them again. It is so difficult for Scott Parker's team to get out here.
Yes, it is, because you know what, even though Arsenal are 2-0 up, they haven't rested on their laurels. They're still pressing as high as they can. They're not letting Bournemouth get a foothold in the game. I mean, their best spell of possession came after 19 minutes of the game. That shows how well in and out of possession Arsenal are playing.
More live football tomorrow here on BBC Radio 5 Live. 5 Live Sunday will have live commentary of Leeds United against Chelsea at 2, and it's Newcastle United against the reigning champions Manchester City at 4:30. There'll be reaction, by the way, to the big fight, the Anthony Joshua fight tonight, that rematch on the 5 Live Boxing podcast with Steve Bruce. That would be good, actually, hear Steve Bruce talking boxing, but Steve Bunce will do it better, and that'll be available tomorrow morning.
Steve Bruce actually looks like he's been in a few fights.
He does. I tell you, Bruce and Bunce, that's one for the commissioning editors of 5 Live to look at. That would be the good part.
I'm not sure which one of them will be more disappointed with that.
Well, I know who'd do all the talking, I'll tell you that. That'll be Bunsey. Here is Partey inside the centre circle. Zinchenko for Arsenal, who lead 2-0 here midway into the first half. Bournemouth, who've hardly had a kick in their opponent's half, and Arsenal have looked good. And you know, we did an interview before the game with BBC World Service Ben, and they kind of almost jokingly but said, well, you know, how good are Arsenal? Could it be even more than a Champions League pursuit this season? Could it be a title race for Arsenal? And everyone's afraid, because it's been so long that they've been out of that conversation. But this by far is the best this club has looked in many years.
Yes, definitely. It's just part of the process with Arteta. I think this was the thought process behind putting into the position of the manager, and it's taken time. There's been a lot of emotional debate from the Arsenal fans, but they've stuck with him through thick and thin, and this is what you get when you work with someone, when the whole club is aligned in everyone they bring in the way they want to play football. The one thing I would say on the more than the top four shout is Jesus. He needs to remain fit, if that is even a question.
This is Arsenal's 6th consecutive season not playing in the Champions League, and I think from their supporters' point of view, getting into that top four that's the priority. They can go and build on anything else after that. But you look back, a year ago Arsenal lost their first 3 games in a row. They were bottom of the league in early September. I mean, what a transformation to where they are now, here ahead in their 3rd game.
No, that was just circumstances. They were still a good team then. See, these are the problems we've got. That's when managers get sacked, when they lose 3 games on the spin. But look what he's done now.
It is some transformation. The belief is back for Arsenal. You get the suspicion their supporters are actually enjoying watching their team play these days, which I can tell you was not the case 12 months ago.
Yeah, you say the beliefs, but I think the belief was always there in the hierarchy of the club, in the manager, in the players. I think it was the outside noise that didn't believe, but now they're fully on board.
Yeah, well, they've stuck with their man in Arteta, and he has stuck with his youngsters. Arsenal have had the youngest average age in the Premier League this season. They had the youngest average age in all of last season too. And the new signings, that little bit of nous, that winning mentality that Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus bring from Manchester City, where they won so many medals, and that has just changed the mood.
I think also when we look at this Arsenal group, they're young, they look like they get on, they look like they're friends off the field, which goes so far when you're on it. When you're spending time together off the field, you build a camaraderie, and we can see that in this Arsenal group.
I still have it with Ramsdale away to our right hand side. By the way, the new summer signing from Porto, Fabio Vieira, is on the bench today. He picked up an ankle injury playing for Portugal under 21s in June, and that has hampered his pre-season and his start to the campaign, but he is on the bench and in line perhaps for an Arsenal debut at some stage. I think many people are excited to see what he's going to be like. Fabio Vieira, the Portuguese midfielder.
Yes, I for one, I'm very excited to see him. He comes with brilliant pedigree, and some of his stats last season were amazing, weren't they? I think he played something almost 15 games, or the same amount of minutes as 15 games, and he got 6 goals and 14 assists.
Yeah, more than him in just a moment. Saka here has been taken down by Jordan Zamora. It's turning into a good battle between those two, but Zamora, realising that Saka was getting away from him, stretching out the left boot, taking down Saka, and the referee has shown a yellow card. The first booking of the game for Jordan Zamora, the left wing back for Bournemouth, and a free kick in a dangerous attacking position for Arsenal, who still lead 2-0.
And I can guarantee you that is not a position you want to be in, Connor. Zamora on a yellow card in that left back situation against Saka could turn out to be a long afternoon.
Bournemouth have picked up a yellow card there. Odegaard always picked out Xhaka, no one marking at the back post, and he lost his footing as he stretched to control it. Big chance for Arsenal. Odegaard saw the run, no Bournemouth defender did. Xhaka had so much time, and he was almost thinking one step ahead there. He lost his footing inside the penalty area, and it harmlessly went out for a goal kick and a relief for Bournemouth.
That ball was just a little bit too high. He just seemed to die on Xhaka as he was attacking that back post there. Just bounced just before he met it, lost his footing, and eventually came to nothing. But from a Bournemouth perspective, Scott Parker will be absolutely fuming at the space that Xhaka found himself in on the back stick.
Granit Xhaka, who scored last weekend against Leicester. If you're just joining our coverage here on 5 Live, 2-0 Arsenal, both goals from Martin Odegaard. Gabriel Jesus in the build-up to the pair of them. Here is Zinchenko just inside the Bournemouth half, left-hand side, rolling it back. Bright sunshine here on the south coast. Heavy traffic on the way down here for everyone as people making their way to the beaches. Down goes Odegaard from a heavy challenge, but the referee says this one is fair by Ben Pearson. Bournemouth can't hold on to it. Saka to Odegaard, chips it back in front of Saka, and Chris Mepham had to sweep across the edge of his own penalty area to clear it away. He finds his international colleague Kiefer Moore. Bournemouth give it away inside their own half. Groans from the home fans. Partey to Granit Xhaka in the midfield. Back to Gabriel. It's effortless at the moment for Mikel Arteta's team. Arteta, who's dressed in a tight-fitting black sweater down below us in the technical area. Xhaka here weaves in field from left to right and plays a low ball to the feet of Ben White. Out to the right wing, he's got Odegaard ahead of him. Accurate ball into the feet of Gabriel Jesus. Lays it off brilliantly to Saka. Now Martinelli in the area. Turns Smith. Can't quite smuggle it out to Zinchenko. And Bournemouth are relieved to get it away. But it's intricate and it's so clever from Arsenal as they time and time again get into that Bournemouth penalty area.
Yes, they're just probing at that Bournemouth back five. And every now and again they get it just right. That intricate passing gets them away. Martinelli could have just got it out of his feet. He either could have shot or he could have got it out of Zinchenko, because Zinchenko was the man on the back stick. He was over, he was on his own. But unfortunate for Arsenal, they just couldn't get it out.
And some of the other scores elsewhere today. Hibs 2, Rangers 2 in the lunchtime kick-off at Easter Road in the Scottish Premiership. In the afternoon games there were wins for St Mirren and Motherwell and Ross County, and Aberdeen were leading when I last looked. I think they had an extra bit of stoppage time there in their 3 o'clock game, and just scanning down to have a check. But yes, they did hold on to beat St Johnstone by a goal to nil. In the Premier League today, Crystal Palace won at home against Aston Villa. 1-1 draw between Everton and Nottingham Forest. It finished Fulham 3, Brentford 2, and Leicester 1, Southampton 2. And Everton still without a win, but a late equaliser for Damari Gray at Goodison Park. One of the stories of the day so far. More reaction to those games coming up at half-time here on 5 Live. Saka runs into a bit of room down the right wing for Arsenal. However, the whistle had been blown. Play has been brought to a halt for a head injury. Ben Pearson is the player who's down. He has played against Arsenal once before in his career, Ben Pearson. He was in the Preston team that lost to Arsenal the FA Cup a few years back. And he got a heavy hit there, and he was slow to get back to his feet, and the referee, because it was a head injury, just holding up play to make sure that he was all right. The 2 goals from Odegaard, Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2.
Yeah, it's just a break in play. We see some players getting some water on board, because half of this pitch here down at the Vitality is extremely hot, and the other half is nice and shady. So if you're playing right back like Ben White, yes, they're extremely hot, and Zinchenko's barely broke a sweat on this left wing.
Yes, that shadow is slowly creeping its way across. By the second half it'll be over to the players, I'd imagine, who will be playing on that side in the second half, so they'll get the benefit on both sides. Here comes Martinelli, tries to go through the middle for Arsenal. However, Smith did well up against him, leaning in fairly on the Brazilian, and the ball bounced through to Mark Travers, the Bournemouth goalkeeper. Bournemouth tried to play it out from the back here. Lloyd Kelly to Chris Mepham, onto Adam Smith, and he runs up to the halfway line and plays the ball with plenty of backspin in front of Tavernier, but that's difficult for him to run onto, and rather easy pickings for Gabriel, who is closed down by Tavernier as he tried to clear it away. But Adam Smith's pass there, Glenn, what do you make of that? He's trying to get in around the back of the defence, but Arsenal are dealing so well with that tactic since the get-go.
Yes, they are, and as Adam Smith approaches the Arsenal half there, I don't think he's bowled over with options. His forward man's not playing. I think, if anything, he needs to play that diagonal into the taller man, Kiefer Moore, and try and work off the back of that, because that is one thing they can get joy with Bournemouth, is that his physical stature and size. He is holding it up when it goes into him, and they need to get it into him more. But more important than that, they need to support him. But that when you support your forward in games like this, it means almost leaving the back door open, and this slick Arsenal side can punish you, as we've seen already.
Another free kick to Arsenal. Ben Pearson committing the foul on Odegaard, and it's a free kick that is about 20 yards outside the penalty area. It's not a shooting position. Xhaka standing over it. You'd imagine he'll just dink this into the box. He's got options left and right. He chooses the left hand side. It's headed away by Chris Mepham, controlled by Marcus Tavernier, who's the younger brother of the Rangers captain James Tavernier, summer signing from Middlesbrough. Again, Bournemouth can't hold on to it. Xhaka briefly gets it back for Arsenal. Partey now does hold on to it for the visitors. Plays a 1-2 at Odegaard. Arsenal have looked so in control right for the kick-off. I mean, scoring an early goal does that for you. The opener came after 5 minutes, the second goal in the 10th minute, and it's been comfortable all the way for Mikel Arteta's side. Bournemouth have got an early goal in their win against Villa 2 weeks ago. They scored after 116 seconds. That really set them up on their way, but it's the opposite effect here. Conceding the early goal is making this a bit of a drag for the home team. Ben White, crossing position on the right for Arsenal, swings it in too close to the goalkeeper. Mark Travers makes the save.
Just watching the game, it is quite incredible how both teams have 11 men, but one have so many options. That team is obviously Arsenal, and when Bournemouth do get it to feet, there's just nobody there. They're panicking on the ball. It's like a hot potato. there's no care on the passes to one another, and ultimately Arsenal pressed them into submission.
The last time Arsenal beat Bournemouth, they scored early in that game too. David Luiz inside the first 10 minutes. It proved to be the winning goal. Here the two from the Norwegian, the captain Martin Odegaard, have Arsenal comfortably in front here with 10 minutes to go to half-time. Tavernier back to Jefferson Lerma on the halfway line. Now Phil Billing, the former Huddersfield man, Danish international, back to the Colombian Lerma. Tavernier again. These are a few passes in the Arsenal app, which is something Bournemouth haven't been able to do in the game so far. They're not necessarily going anywhere, but at least they are getting a presence now. This is Senesi, the signing from Feyenoord, who is making his home debut today. Part of the back three with Chris Mepham and Lloyd Kelly for Bournemouth, who enjoyed such a strong campaign last season in the Championship, and that adjustment when you come up to the Premier League. It's always tricky for teams who go from dominating games and attacking every week to suddenly having to absorb against the elite teams. Zinchenko here, edge of the penalty for Arsenal. He hesitated, he took his eye off it. This could be an opportunity. Tavernier runs into heavy traffic. Zinchenko, he never gives up. He might have made a mistake, but he battled and battled there to redeem himself, and Arsenal were able to clear the ball away. An opportunity for Bournemouth, and they weren't able to take it.
No, can you call it an opportunity, Conor?
Half a chance.
It was the first mistake Arsenal have made, and like you say, Zinchenko, his mentality to it's next action with these new managers like your Artetas, like your Peps. It's next action. Don't worry about what you've done wrong. It's about what you do and how you react, and immediately he reacts and he wins the ball back for his team.
So here come Arsenal once again. Seem to have so much room, as Glenn's mentioned, inside their opponent's half today. Bournemouth getting everyone back into a deep line position, most of them on the edge of the penalty area. But that 15-20 yards in front of the box, there's room, as there is here for Odegaard. He gives it on to Saka, pushed as he received it by Lloyd Kelly. Bit of muscle that Bournemouth need as they regain possession. Billing now tries to get it in front of Kiefer Moore, and it's very well anticipated by William Saliba, and Arsenal win it back once again. Looking at the possession stats, over 70% possession so far for the visitors, Arsenal, which doesn't surprise one bit.
And I'm just watching Ramsdale pass it into Partey, and Partey pass it back, and Kiefer Moore is standing up front. He's waving his team forward. He wants help. He wants help both in attack and in defence. I think he's feeling the pressure already that he's all on his lonesome this afternoon.
And Martin Odegaard with the 2 goals inside 11 minutes today for Arsenal. Here comes Saka. Low ball to the feet of his captain, challenged by Senesi, who's able to clear it away. Kiefer Moore wins a header, but Odegaard immediately retrieves possession for Arsenal. The last Arsenal player, by the way, to score 2 goals in the first 11 minutes of a Premier League game was 20 years ago. It was Kanu. Kanu scored 2 goals in inside 11 minutes for Arsenal in a Premier League match, and that's what Odegaard has done here today. This is Gabriel, crossfield ball, full of ambition, and it bounces in front of Odegaard, and he can't control it, and that goes out for a throw. That was a very speculative pass from Gabriel, and he wasn't able to pick out Odegaard there.
I actually thought it was quite a good ball by Gabriel, that. I just don't think that Odegaard gambled on it. I don't think he thought it was going to beat Zamora. Zamora lost it in the sunshine. Yes, I think he lost it in the sunshine, and if Odegaard had anticipated it, he'd have been down the right-hand side there.
And I think that's the point I was making, that Arsenal was so comfortable here that Gabriel felt he could take on that Hollywood pass, if you like. He felt comfortable enough to attempt it. Here is Zinchenko, just inside his own half, short ball to Partey. Now Xhaka, back to the defender Gabriel, hoping to impress in World Cup year. Gabriel was called up to the Brazil national squad for the first time at the back end of last season. Here's Xhaka, 10 yards inside his own half, has a look up. Billing running across to make sure there's bit of closing down of the Swiss international, and back to Gabriel once again.
As we watch the Arsenal possession grow more and more throughout this half, the bite that Bournemouth did have at the beginning of the game, it just seems to have gone that shuffle. He's just so tired already, the shoulders are slumped a little bit, and this is an afternoon where you just need to stick to your task, because ultimately as a professional footballer you don't want to be embarrassed, so they need to keep this game within grasp.
Odegaard looks for Gabriel Jesus, ball over the top of Senesi. Gabriel Jesus will get there, but he's ushered out towards the corner flag. pushed from the back by the Argentinian defender, who's not the tallest centre-back you've ever seen, but he's tough, and he managed to barrel his way through Gabriel Jesus and then win another 50-50 challenge and clear the ball away for Bournemouth. But Arsenal come again. It's been relentless for the visitors. White, right-hand side, low ball, goes right across the 6-yard box, took a deflection on the way through, and despite the attempts of Adam Smith to clear it away, that ball had gone over the line. So it'll be an Arsenal corner, left-hand side. They lead by 2-0 with just over 5 minutes to go to the break.
I don't know about you, Conor, but I think Gabriel Jesus was a little bit too honest for his own good there, because Sensei crashed through the back of him and he tried to stay on his feet. It looked like he was on skates.
But he didn't make any song and dance about it. I like that about Gabriel Jesus. He's made it tough stuff too. He's streetwise. He knows there's a long 90 minutes here. He might get a little collision of his own soon, as the corner is played in by Martinelli, headed by Billing up into the air. Pearson's unable to deal with it. Good control by Odegaard. His attempted shot is blocked. Gabriel Jesus takes it down on his chest, tries a shot which is smothered. Arsenal still have it on the edge of the box. Odegaard pointed to Saka that he wanted him to run in front there, but by pointing he illustrated to Tavernier what he was going to do, and Tavernier was able to run back and he clears it away, and the ball goes out of play for a throw into Bournemouth. Left full back position for them. They remain penned in.
And I think that sums up Arsenal's first half. Tavernier found himself, the ball bounces out to the left-hand side there, in the Bournemouth left-back position. Who was tackling, who was closing him down? Gabriel. That just shows how high up Arsenal are playing, how high they're pressing, and the intensity of their game.
Bournemouth trying to work their way out. The throw-in is taken by Lloyd Kelly from a left full-back position. Arsenal fans making a lot of the noise here. They are located on the far side of the pitch from us here at the Vitality. They've got the sun in their eyes, but they are jumping, dancing, clapping in unison. There's a big Norwegian flag unfurled for their double goal scorer today. Odegaard is here, come their team again. Martinelli to the D, back out to the left to Zinchenko, little cut back turn, now the left foot delivery toward the back post. Saka couldn't get up off the ground. Ben White's going to sprint out and keep it alive out by the corner flag on the right hand side. It is relentless. They come again. Saka to Odegaard, 15 yards outside the penalty area, shuffles it back to Saka, infield to Partey. This is all one touch stuff. Odegaard, Gabriel leaves it. They're toying with Bournemouth now, Arsenal. Third goal, this could be all over by half time. And a very animated Scott Parker is ushering his place to get out now as Arsenal retreat to the halfway line. He said get out, push up. He thinks his team are too deep at the moment.
Yes, and as we can hear the Arsenal fans enjoying their afternoon, I think just as much the Arsenal players are enjoying theirs. And I can see from Mikel Arteta, he's normally very animated on the side. He's just sitting, he's got his hand to his mouth, and I think he's enjoying what his players are doing tonight.
He's got to be enjoying the start of this season. It is still early days, but Arsenal's conversion rate for chances has been so much better this campaign. They're taking their opportunities now. Martinelli thought he might have been in for another one there, but the flag is raised on the far side and the Brazilian was offside. Early days, as I said, but if you look at the stats in terms of creating chances and actually taking them, Arsenal have been twice as good this season as they have been last season. Mark Travers wearing all yellow. The Bournemouth goalkeeper has been beaten twice. Out to Zamora. The left back closed down by Ben White, and it goes out for a Bournemouth throw. What can Scott Parker do to try and freshen this up, to try and hit back in the second half, do you think, Glenn? It's not going to be easy.
Thankfully, Conor, that's not my job. What can he do? I think he needs to try and get his midfielders on the ball a little bit. Just keep the ball, even if it's the back four and the deep line midfield that keep hold of the ball. I think they just need to get a foothold in the game and work off the back of that. When they do get up the sides into the channels, they need to commit Billing and Kiefer Moore into the box and ask questions of Saliba and Gabriel in the air.
Bournemouth do have Ryan Christie and Lewis Cook both on the bench, both who started in midfield last weekend. Kiefer Moore goes down holding his face in his hands, and he's certainly implying here that he's been caught by an arm by Gabriel. It's actually directly in front of us. It was unclear at the time whether there was a clean contact, but Kiefer Moore's a big guy and he's gone flat down on his back there. We've got the benefit of a replay. Let's see, ball bounces up, strikes his hand, and then there is the back of the palm of Gabriel rising up, brushes his face. I don't think it's sufficient to make a big man like Kiefer Moore go down, but that's football these days. Touch to the face, down he went.
I think that's a bit harsh. I think it was definitely accidental by Gabriel, and Listen, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, they say, don't they, Connor? But I think if you get a hand in the face like that, it did come with some force, and we can see a little bit of blood coming out.
I'm not having that. So if he's at Glastonbury and he's up at the front row dancing, and if someone swinging their arm that way, does he go down? Does he go down?
And burst their nose?
Has he burst his arm?
Yes, he has, yes.
Okay, I'm going to take it all back, and I'm going to defer to you. There we go.
We'll rewind that one, will we?
delete that, so there you go.
And we can just see both players there shaking each other's hands. It was definitely accidental.
Right. He's got the tissue in his nose, so we'll take all of that back. He was struck.
Do you know what? I think Kiefer Moore will be welcome of the little bit of break he's just got there.
Yes, it is a hot day. The referee hasn't had a drinks break, which happened in all the games last weekend of the Premier League. I know the temperatures maybe aren't quite as hot as they were in those heatwave temperatures last week, but fourth official getting ready to put up the board to indicate what's going to be added on for stoppages at the end of the game. So the end of the first half. 2-0 Arsenal lead. Both goals from the captain Martin Odegaard. Both came in the early stages of the match. Bournemouth who've tried to rally, they've tried to get some sort of presence in their opponent's half, but they haven't been able to succeed so far. 2 minutes to be added on for stoppages, Glenn.
I think that the one thing that we say about Arsenal is their intensity in their press, and we give that a lot of praise, but the intensity in their passing under no pressure today has been superb. It sets the whole tempo of the move, and that comes right from the back four with no pressure on them. They're slipping this ball over this surface and making this Bournemouth team work.
Zinchenko applies a bit of pressure on Jefferson Lerma. Focus out of play for a throw-in to Bournemouth. There were briefly 2 balls on the pitch. This new multi-ball system which they're applying now. It came in during the COVID era when they didn't want to ball boys and ball girls, and they've kept it now permanently. It sometimes does apply itself too effectively, the multi-ball system. Here's Odegaard, edge of the Bournemouth penalty area. Bournemouth would hate to concede a third ahead of the break. This is Bukayo Saka, edge of the penalty area, twisting, turning, right foot cross low in, looking for Gabriel Jesus, cleared away by Chris Mepham on the edge of the 6-yard box and picked up by Phil Billing, who's tripped by Odegaard, and that is a foul, and that will be a free kick to Bournemouth just inside their own half. Foul by Odegaard, who comes across and offers a hand of apology to Phil Billing.
And if anything, Connor, the one Arsenal player that we haven't seen much after the first 15 minutes is Jesus. They failed to keep getting the ball into him, to keep him in the game. And I think the more they do get him into the game come the second half, the more goals will come.
I think it's a bit like the Erling Haaland situation. You'd have seen that stat, I'm sure, Glenn, that he only had 8 touches of the ball last weekend. One of them was an assist. For strikers, it's what you do, not how much of it you do. And he's got his assist today, but in terms of the amount of times, you're right that they've come down the left with Zinchenko, they've come down the right with White and Saka. It perhaps, again, there's 2 balls on the pitch here. We're going to have to another hold of and play. But it's surprising that they haven't been able to pick out Gabriel Jesus a little bit more often. 3 central defenders, of course, keeping close eye on him.
My answer to that would be, my philosophy was work smart, not hard, but I can't say that for Jesus because he does work so hard out of possession.
So there's a whistle for the break. So 2 goals for Martin Odegaard. Bournemouth, who were caught cold here today. 2 goals inside the first 11 minutes of minutes. So difficult. But Mikel Arteta will be very pleased. Arsenal heading towards a 3rd straight win at the start of the new Premier League season. They have begun this campaign like a greyhound in trap 5. They have absolutely launched themselves at it, and Bournemouth have it all to do, Glenn, to come back in this one.
Yes, they do indeed. That performance, that first half performance by this Arsenal team was classy, and it was certainly dominant. Scott Parker will be definitely looking for a reaction from his players come the second half.
They let in 4 last weekend, Bournemouth. Half-time here. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2 already. Thanks very much, Robbie. Yeah, the teams are back out. Well, Arsenal are anyway. Some of the Bournemouth players have come. We're awaiting the rest of them. After 45 minutes in which Arsenal scored 2 early goals, and Bournemouth, Glenn Murray, didn't have a shot. They didn't have a touch inside the Arsenal penalty area in that entire 45 minutes.
No, and I did notice a stat before the game that Gabriel Jesus had 15 touches in the Leicester box, and in the first 2 games of the season, Bournemouth only had 14 touches in the opposition box, so that just shows how dominant Arsenal are at the moment.
Yeah, well, Bournemouth have not been anywhere near threatening their former goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale. There's going to be at least 1 change, if not 2, from Scott Parker over the break. So this will be interesting to see what he is going to do to try and steady the ship. He's going to bring on Lewis Cook. Great to see him back playing regularly after all those injury problems that he's had over the years. Lewis Cook, he's going to come on, and so too Jayden Anthony for his first appearance of the season. He's an attacking player. Cook a central midfielder, and we're just waiting for confirmation. It is Pearson who is going off to allow Cook into the midfield, and who's going off for Jayden Anthony. We will confirm that. It's going to be the defender, I think it's Marcus Sinesi. So Bournemouth are going to go to 4 at the back. They had 3 central defenders. They will sacrifice one of those in defence to try and get more presence further up the field. So Jayden Anthony and Lewis Cook are on, and those are the 2 alterations for Scott Parker. He had to do something, Glenn. This is what he's done.
Yes, he did, and he's rolled the dice. We mentioned Bournemouth getting a foothold in the game in the first half, and Cook proves that. He comes on, he's good on the ball. He also brings a little bit of bite, and also when you bring Jayden Anthony on, him and Zamora linked up really well in the Championship last year, and they'll be looking for them to get back to that.
Lewis Cook, who back before his bad injury became the first Bournemouth player to ever play for England, played against Italy back in 2018. He's still only 25 years of age, Lewis Cook. He'll be hoping for a clean season now, a clean bill of health throughout the campaign. As Bournemouth tried to come on the attack right from the get-go here, they would love a foothold in the game. They attack the edge of the penalty area, and Arsenal clear it away for a throw-in, which is taken by Jordan Zamora. Into Kiefer Moore, good pull-back, but good positioning by Alexander Zinchenko, and he clears away from the edge of the 6-yard box. So they've got their first touch inside the penalty area anyway. Little seeds, hoping, little acorns, hoping to grow into bigger things for Bournemouth in this second half. There's a delay in play though, because an Arsenal player, I think it's Odegaard, is down, and the referee has just come across to see if he is okay, and that's going to be a free kick to Arsenal on the edge of their own penalty area. So the teams, Mark Travers in goal for Bournemouth. We've got Adam Smith on the right hand side of defence, Jordan Zamora on the left, Chris Mepham and Lloyd Kelly now just the 2 central defenders for this second half. In the midfield, Lewis Cook, Jefferson Lerma, Philip Billing, with Marcus Tavernier pushing forward, and Jayden Anthony and Kiefer Moore, the central striker through the middle, who has scored in each of his last 3 home league games here at this stadium. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 2. Odegaard heads it on. Cook and Kelly back beside each other defending, and there's a bit more bite to Bournemouth in this second half as Jayden Anthony nips in and wins possession, and then Kiefer Moore tries to send it down the line, and he's unlucky there that it goes out for a throw-in. But Bournemouth have got a little bit more about them here at the start of the second half. Long way back into this game, but they are giving it a go.
They are indeed, and that change of formation from Scott Parker, we can see right away the benefit of it, because in the first minute of the second half they did more than in the opening 45 minutes of the first. So already a plus for Bournemouth. They need to build on it, but it's also about keeping that back door shut when you come out to play.
The Arsenal team, which has been unchanged for their opening 3 games of the season: Ramsdale the goalkeeper, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko in defence, Partey and Xhaka in the midfield as Billing comes over the halfway line here, rolls it in front of Jayden Anthony. Good recovery by Ben White, sliding in to put it out for a throw. So Partey and Xhaka in the middle of the midfield for Arsenal, Odegaard pushing forward, Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and Gabriel Jesus through the middle. Gabriel Jesus, who was involved in the build-up to both goals, he'll get the assist for the second, but it was his glorious touch to take the ball down and control it, and then a powerful run into the penalty area that set up the opening goal as well. Throw in here for Bournemouth. It's going to be taken by Lloyd Kelly. High arcing throw into the penalty area. Gabriel wins the header. Straight back out to Kelly. Sends it in high and hopeful again. To the back post. Lerma heads it down. Ramsdale a little bit unsure, and he jumps out and gathers it. And that's the first time really the Arsenal goalkeeper's been called into any sort of action today. And he tries to distribute it up the field towards Martinelli. Smith has got him covered, and Bournemouth give it back to the goalkeeper Travers. We've got a game of football here, Glenn Murray. This was one-way traffic in the first half. Bournemouth giving a game to Arsenal. Oh, as I say that though, Cook gives it away, a sloppy pass, and Xhaka intercepts briefly, but Bournemouth get it back again. Glenn.
Yes, Bournemouth, their distances between one another already look better. They look more comfortable in this shape, and I can see Mikel Arteta just down to my left hand side, more animated than he was in the whole of the first half, so he knows his players are in a game now.
Last season, the first time that Arsenal had finished inside the top 5 since 2019 under Unai Emery. They finished 8th in both 2020 But in these very early stages of this early starting season, Arsenal are on their way to the top of the Premier League tonight. Manchester City can join them on 9 points tomorrow if they can beat Newcastle. And that is if Bournemouth can't get back into this one, but they are giving it a go. Zamora over the halfway line, a ball in field which is controlled by Jefferson Lerma. That wasn't easy, but he did well, and he's put it in front of Adam Smith. First time in the game that Smith has been able to come on the attack. Steadies himself, plays in across. Gabriel beats Billing in the air. Good defender's header, good distance on it, well outside the penalty area. Tavernier is able to collect for Bournemouth, and now it's back with Chris Mepham with his bright yellow boots, and they're playing into the sunshine somewhat now. Bournemouth in this second half, you can see the long shadows of the players drifting back towards Mark Travers away to our right hand side. But Bournemouth for the first time in the game getting a bit of time on the ball inside their opponent's half. It's been a sluggish start to the second half from Arsenal. White does well, good challenge on Anthony, puts the ball out for a Bournemouth throw. Still 2-0 to Arsenal here.
And we can hear the response of the fans down here. All they want to see is their team having a go, and they've come out in this second half, and they're certainly having this, as we see Lloyd Kelly trying the ball to get the second long throw of the second half into the Arsenal box.
He's taking as long a run as he can. There's not much room at the advertising boards. He launches it in, flicked on header by Mepham, but into the arms of Aaron Ramsdale. That will count as his first save of the game. Oh, mistake by Ramsdale as he tried to clear it out. He completely made a mess of his clearance, and in that way goalkeepers do. He now comes out and he complains and he runs, but that was a mistake by him. He's complaining to the referee, Craig Paulson. He tried to clear the ball out. He gave it straight to Lerma. Let's have a look at this. He had, I think it was Jayden Anthony in front of him, but
in all fairness, I think Jayden Anthony does give a little feint as though he's going to step in front of him, but that can't put the Arsenal goalkeeper off. Ramsdale's fuming with it, but ultimately it is a mistake by him.
He does get feint is a good word, Glenn. He feints in, but he doesn't touch Ramsdale. He doesn't touch the ball. That is a bad clearance from the Arsenal goalkeeper. And Mikel Arteta, who had hardly a care in the world in the first half, everything went Arsenal's way. Now just a few little moments of concern, albeit with his team still comfortably in front. Gabriel Jesus with a rough challenge in the midfield brings down Lewis Cook, and that's going to be a yellow card. Yellow card for the Brazilian striker. He was on the receiving end of a heavy push in the first half. He's challenged into Cook there and given away the free kick and picked up the booking.
But you know what? He's working back for his team. He's putting challenges in, and that's what Mikel Arteta will want to see.
Here come Bournemouth again. Saka back helping out the defence this time. Odegaard gets it up to Gabriel Jesus. Passes from inside his halfway line over to Saka on the right hand side. Two defenders back. Lewis Kelly, one of them, leaning into Saka, and that's going to be a free kick to Arsenal, crossing position on the right.
So I can't help but feel that the way this game started in the second half, it's going to go one of two ways. Bournemouth are either going to get back into it and we're going to be in for a grandstand finish, or Arsenal are going to work off the back of Bournemouth coming out of that shape and pressing forward and put the game to bed. I'm interested to see which way it's going to go.
Yeah, they're being brave, Bournemouth at least. They sort of have to be in these circumstances. If Arsenal were to concede, it would be interesting to see quite how, beneath the surface are they as confident as they appear on the exterior this season. Is it just a veneer of invincibility for Mikel Arteta's team in these early games, or some of those problems, and we saw that Ramsdale clearance, that they do remain. That's a good cross. Martinelli into the penalty area. Xhaka the back post, tees up Saliba! Brilliant goal to the top corner. 3-0. Bournemouth's brave resistance and attempted to fight back in these early stages of the second half are immediately nipped in the bud. Oh, he took that ever so well. William Saliba's first ever goal for Arsenal, and he planted it in the top corner. The free kick, which came in from the right hand side but was recycled so well. Xhaka did well to keep it alive. Nobody around Saliba, no one marking him. It's a brilliant finish, Glenn.
It was indeed. And Bournemouth asked questions, and Arsenal have just answered emphatically. The way that Xhaka passed that ball back, he rolled it back so invitingly along the turf so he could hit it first time Saliba, and he sweeps it with his left foot back across the goal, and it dropped in the far left hand top corner for a brilliant Arsenal third.
It's only the second goal of his senior career. He scored in France last season in Ligue 1, but that's his first in the Premier League, his first for Arsenal, 3-0. And Mikel Arteta's side, who were just beginning to be asked one or two little small questions by Bournemouth, boy have they come up with the answer emphatically, as Gabriel Jesus nearly nipped in around Mepham there, and Mepham did well to clear the ball away. This is in danger of becoming a rout now. You said it, Glenn, in danger of going one of two ways. I think we know which way now.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see how this Bournemouth team react, because they have had joy in this at the beginning of this second half. Will they continue to do the things that have brought them that little bit of joy, or will they go back into their shells, be reluctant and protect their pride?
Excellent crossfield pass by Jadon Anthony. He's been very good since coming on. This is Premier League debut. Jefferson Lerma, crossing position on the right hand side, sends it in, deflected off Gabriel, and out for a Bournemouth corner. 3 goals conceded today, 4 goals conceded last weekend. Bournemouth back in the Premier League and feeling the heat. Busy penalty area awaits this corner. We've played 10 minutes in the second half. Saliba's goal making it Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3. 5 live from the BBC. We've got 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton to come. That was a good delivery in. Ramsdale was floundering it just a little bit. Xhaka clears it away for Arsenal. Up to Gabriel Jesus, who's held up by Lewis Cook. Bournemouth doing much better now in those 50-50 situations. Tavernier to Cook on the right hand side. He's given them just a little bit more presence in the midfield since coming on at half time. Jefferson Lerma back to Lloyd Kelly, the captain. That's a good ball to the left wing, where Jadon Anthony has got Saka up against him. He does a little drag back to himself under his own studs, trying to create a little bit of room, and Zamora will play it off Ben White for a Bournemouth throw on the left wing. They send players forward here. 3-0 down, they've got to go for it now. Bournemouth, inevitably this is going to leave gaps at the back, which Arsenal may well exploit in the counter-attack. But at home, back in the Premier League, Scott Parker would rather go down fighting than just shy away from the challenge. And Lloyd Kelly sends in another of these high arcing throw-ins. Kiefer Moore can't get near this one. Too much pushing in there. Referee spots a foul. Free kick to Arsenal, who lead 3-0. Glenn Murray.
Even though Bournemouth are huffing and puffing, I do feel that Arsenal are quite comfortable sat in their shape, just shuffling side to side, engaging when needed to. But definitely, from a Bournemouth perspective, it's much, much better. And as we just see a replay of Saliba's goal, you need to catch it and match it there, because it's a special one from the centre half. And he's definitely matured this afternoon, hasn't he, Connor?
It's a brilliant goal. Yes, mature and wise at 21. But he, compared to the raw kid who showed up a few years back, he is now ready for the Premier League, and they didn't put him in too early. Here come Arsenal, threatening to run away with it now. Martinelli shoots, and Smith, who came all the way across, sweeping from right full-back, makes the challenge, and the shot from Martinelli goes away off target. Was he a little bit selfish there? Could he have played it into the middle? I mean, strikers will always want it. If they see the goal, they see the white of the goalkeeper's eyes. But look at the room, he could have sent to that, couldn't he?
First and foremost, his run was absolutely perfect. The timing of it, he broke that defence, he broke the offside trap, and he was away, and he just didn't really seem to open his legs, because we know he's fast, but he did have options. I wonder if he just was caught in two minds slightly.
And Martinelli, who's been in the goals so far, looking for his third in a row here today. In a World Cup year, the man who was called into the Brazilian squad for the first time in March. I'd love to be going to Qatar wearing the yellow and green. Throw-in for Arsenal. Ben White to take down in front of Mikel Arteta, who's pointing fingers and bellowing on instructions. Thomas Partey, strong. Zinchenko nearly lost it under pressure from Tavernier, but he stretched out and kept it alive. Got it back to Gabriel. Here's Partey again in the centre circle. Back to Ramsdale, wearing a green goalkeeping outfit with matching orange boots and gloves, away to our left-hand side. When he came out for the start of the second half, he was given a standing ovation by the Bournemouth fans, who used to cheer him on in Bournemouth colours here. Out of vitality, Aaron Ramsdale. Another free kick here to Arsenal, just inside their own half. Referee Craig Pawson for a foul on Zinchenko by Meppel.
One thing I have noticed about the Arsenal play today is how well Ben White's done in that right-back situation. he's supported Saka perfectly. He gives him enough time to let him create. He overlaps at the right time, but he's making Saka look good. Really, really good full-back play in possession from Ben White.
Stretching back to last season, this could become 8 wins in Arsenal's last 10 Premier League games. They are 3-0 up. Bournemouth are getting stuck in now. There's a few heavy challenges and another yellow card shown. Craig Pawson, who showed the most yellow cards of all referees in the Premier League last season, he's already shown one to Zamora and to Gabriel Jesus today, and he's got the card out again, this time for Adam Smith, who caught Martinelli there, and he was very, very, very late, and he goes in the referee's book, a yellow card for Smith, the former Tottenham player, never popular amongst the Arsenal contingent. He's got the booking there.
And as Smith receives that yellow card over on the far side of the field, I'll just watch Arteta get hold of Saka and he's gestising to him and he's pointing, and I just love the passion that he manages with, and the players seem to be really feeding off that at the moment.
Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3. Gabriel at the back wearing the green boots for Arsenal, plays it up towards Gabriel Jesus, who under pressure from Mepham isn't able to hold on to it. And Lloyd Kelly, under pressure from Gabriel Jesus, sort of dummied a back pass to the goalkeeper there and plays it confidently to Zamora down in front of us, the left-hand side of the Bournemouth attack. I know you do your fantasy football, Glenn. Have you got many Arsenal players in the team?
I must admit, I've got to be honest, I've got 3 Arsenal players in the team, and I've got to whisper this one because, Conor, you're sat to my left here, and directly next to your left is the actual fans, isn't it? So I've got to whisper this one, but I have captained Gabriel Jesus this afternoon.
Zen Murray, who will be carting his way up the tables and the leaderboards and the fantasy football. I mean, mind you, I'm sure a few people will have Gabriel Jesus in mind. Given his start.
I'm a little disappointed he hasn't scored yet, but there's still time, Conor.
And Gabriel Jesus, who have been involved in the first 2 goals that Arsenal scored, he's not really had a clean-cut opportunity to score himself in the match. As Gabriel clears away at the back for Arsenal, only as far as Kiefer Moore. And then Xhaka with a good touch to release Martinelli, who then goes through the gears and accelerates away from Cook up over the halfway line. He's made up 60, 70, 80 yards now into the penalty area, and then he leaves the ball behind him, Martinelli. Cook, to be fair, tracked him all the way back there. He prowled after Martinelli. He wasn't going to give up, and a very good run comes to nothing in the end.
That's good. There's a good word, prowled after him, because he wasn't catching him, was he? He's what I would call a racing chicken in that situation. He was away, wasn't he? The ball just couldn't keep up with him.
Here is Saka. Quiet second half from Bukayo Saka. Little grip on his shirt from Zamora there. Referee says play on. Arsenal still in possession anyway. Partey back to Gabriel, who played in all but 3 of Arsenal's Premier League games last season. Zinchenko, who really does play the similar role that he did at Manchester City, where ostensibly he's a full-back. When Bournemouth have the ball, he's back there at left-back, but when Arsenal have it, he's a midfielder, and look where he is here, central midfield position, just like João Cancelo does. Odegaard, onto Saka now, 10 yards from the byline right-hand side, little bit of acceleration, looking for space, rolls it back to Partey. That's a great touch from Partey to elude Billing, and then he casually lays it off to Zinchenko on the left-hand side. Since getting that 3rd goal, Arsenal back in their rhythm here. They've got the tempo. White to the feet of Gabriel Jesus, tries the little flick on, and that is where it breaks down. Kiefer Moore for Bournemouth. Turn by Jadon Anthony, turned like an ocean liner there. It wasn't a smart, tight turn, it was a wide turn. He relinquishes possession, and Arsenal get it back once again. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3. 5 live from the BBC in the Premier League. This 5:30 kick-off on a Saturday. Some very nice passing from Arsenal here, it has to be said. They keep it moving on the edge of the penalty area. Martinelli goes for goal, and he careers it high up over the corner. He's got himself in his own fantasy football team, Martinelli. He's taken on the shot whenever he's had the chance today.
Well, he's in mine as well, I must admit. But no, he cuts in there, and the man's hot at the moment, and he fancied his chances. He just couldn't find that far top corner. But the game does seem to be settling into a pattern again, doesn't it? That Arsenal dominance just creeping back in, and that early second half exuberance of Bournemouth has just dampened down slightly, especially after that 3rd goal. by William Saliba.
And speaking of fantasy football, look out for the Fantasy Football podcast from Alistair Bruce-Ball and Chris Sutton, available on BBC Sounds. Here we've just got a break in play here, some players coming over for a drinks break on what is a very warm evening here on the South Coast. A reminder that match of the day tonight, Gary Lineker will bring you all today's action, BBC One from 10:30. Some good goals in this game today, particularly the third from William Saliba, struck around the edge of the penalty area to the top corner. Wonderful strike.
Yes, I do agree with that. That is probably the pick of the bunch, but the moment of the match for me was very early on when Gabriel Jesus picked it up, took it down, Sensei challenging him, he floated out to the left hand side, he drove back into the centre of the field, playing a no-look pass, and that created Arsenal's first goal. What a beautiful piece of football it was.
Yeah, that was sublime from the Brazilian Gabriel Jesus, and Bournemouth have never really been able to get a grip of the game since that moment on. Foul on Kiefer Moore by William Saliba. Free kick to Bournemouth just inside their own half.
I think one thing that Arsenal have done really well, and Thomas Partey in particular, and somebody they've probably missed for a lot of years, is just somebody putting out fires in front of that back four. He's constantly tackled, picked up loose balls, and I think he's been a real positive on the Arsenal play today.
Keely Hutchinson goes for gold in the women's 800 metre final at the European Athletics Championship coming up shortly. And tomorrow on 5 Live we'll have live commentary of Leeds United against Chelsea. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff on 5 Live Sunday. After that, Newcastle United against Manchester City at 4:30. Not many teams have beaten Newcastle United at St James's Park since Eddie Howe has taken charge. I think you look back in the home or away, really, you've got Liverpool beat them, Manchester City beat them, but only the best teams have beaten that Newcastle team with their newfound wealth. And I think it's been interesting, Glenn, that they haven't gone crazy in the transfer market this summer. It's considered what Eddie Howe's doing there at the moment.
Yeah, well, we're sitting where Eddie Howe made his name down here on the South Coast in Bournemouth, and I personally think he's doing a fantastic job at Newcastle. He's got the fans on board, and I think most of all he's managing expectation and building what is turning out to be a very strong squad.
6:06 coming up at the end of this live football on 5 Live with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. I'm sure Arsenal fans will want to get involved if it stays like this. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3, and Bournemouth supporters, what do you make of this start to the season? The opening win against Aston Villa seems a long time ago now, but these two more recent performances have been against the two best teams in the league so far this season in terms of results. Here is Zamora down the left hand side, that's pulled back to Kiefer Moore, back to goal, can't turn against Gabriel was very careful and delicate there, didn't lunge in on Kiefer Moore, almost surgically took possession away from him and played it out of the penalty area. Martinelli tries a bit of keepy-ups near the halfway line. Smith doesn't like that, says no way I'm letting you get away with that, and he wins possession back for Bournemouth. Runs into trouble though, he's given it away to Thomas Partey. Quick transfer of possession near the halfway line. Arsenal look to break with Martinelli snapping back at his heels as Marcus Tavernier. Martinelli, aware of the danger, just shuffled away from it. Partey now in a central midfield position gives it to Ben White on the right hand side, and still this quick flurry of passing, 1-2 maximum touches from Arsenal players, has Bournemouth in a bit of a headspin at the moment. 3-0.
Just going back to that flash point in the Arsenal book where Kiefer Moore's about 5 yards just off the Arsenal goal line with his back to goal. I think that's the difference between the Premier League and the Championship. He bullies a Championship defender there, swivels and puts it away, but the defending by, I think it was Gabriel or was it Saliba, just clever, like you said, took control of the situation, didn't get sucked into fighting the big man, and ultimately he took too long and the chance disappeared.
Cheers in the background there for a miscontrol by Martin Odegaard. Arsenal haven't made many mistakes today. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3. Bit of activity down in the Bournemouth technical area. I think Ryan Christie is getting ready to come on, the former Celtic player, the Scotland international. Kelly in the edge of his own penalty area for Bournemouth clears it up to the halfway line and picks out Jadon Anthony. Zamora's attempt to get there quashed by Bukayo Saka, who's worked hard defensively for his team and gets a big warm applause from Mikel Arteta for his endeavours there. Zamora takes the throw for Bournemouth, back to the edge of his own penalty area, to Mark Travers, the goalkeeper. Bournemouth did sign a new keeper in the summer from Barcelona, no less, Adam Neto, who did play a few times for Barcelona in La Liga last season. Neto's come in, the Brazilian. But Mark Travers continues to be first choice for now, the 23-year-old Republic of Ireland international. 69 minutes on the clock. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3. 2 from Odegaard, 1 from Saliba. There's a careless run, and that is an offside flag raised, and Jefferson Lerma is caught offside, and that is a free kick to Arsenal, level with the edge of their own penalty area. For Bournemouth, they are away for the next 2 games. First they go to Norwich in the League Cup on Tuesday, then Bournemouth travel to Liverpool next weekend. So they've had Manchester City last weekend, Arsenal today, Liverpool next in the Premier League. That is, I mean, at least those games will then be out of the way.
So from my point of view, if the game does stay like this and Arsenal run away with all 3 points like we expect at the moment, I think when you look at Bournemouth start to the Premier League, Aston Villa here, City away, Arsenal, I think 3 points is a really good start, and that is probably what they targeted. Listen, if you can get 38 points, a point a game in the Premier League, that is usually, touch wood, enough to keep you in the Premier League. Yeah. So at the minute they're on track.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is why that win against Aston Villa was so important on the opening day. It gives them something on the board ahead of this difficult run they're on at the moment. Saka back to Zinchenko. Arsenal looking for their 4th. Xhaka doesn't control it well. Martinelli controls it brilliantly, and his shot is just wide. Across the face of goal and wide. He controlled it, a little mini juggle, and then somehow, without much of a swivel of his body, he got power on the shot there, across the face of goal. Travers diving, I don't know what it got there. That was close to Arsenal's 4th, just wide.
Yes, it was, and the ball came back to Martinelli there, unexpected. He sort of popped it up, and it was a little bit underneath his feet as he dropped, and he dug it out, and he just breezed past Travers' left-hand post.
20 minutes to play. Arsenal come again. Granit Xhaka's through ball dissects the defence and goes through all the way to the goalkeeper. Travers once again, he had 20 clean sheets last season. It was the most of any goalkeeper in the Championship, but he's in the top flight now. And the goals are raining in against Bournemouth at the moment. And here comes Gabriel Jesus around Travers, and he scoops it in, and there's no flag. The defence all looked. They begged the assistant to raise it. Gabriel Jesus gets Arsenal's 4th, and he continues his opening salvo as an Arsenal player. A goal a game so far for the Brazilian. Mikel Arteta's team are heading back to the top of the formative Premier League table. It's going to be 3 wins out of 3.
And as we see Gabriel Jesus just get away, this is his first look at goal. Odegaard slips it through, and do you know what he is? He's classy, he's cool, and he's calculated, lifting it over Travers. Absolutely superb forward play. As we see, the usual VAR check.
Right, so VAR just having a look to make sure that Gabriel Jesus was onside. He was right on the shoulder of the defender. In the first half, Arsenal's second goal was looked at for offside, and it was deemed that they were on. And this one might be a little bit more dicey. Is Gabriel Jesus a tiny fraction in behind the last defender? They will look at it in minute detail.
When we're talking about millimetres, it will be such a shame for this goal not to count, because it is a thing of absolute beauty from a striking perspective.
I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference with the game already at 3-0. I'll tell you what it'll make a difference to is Glenn Murray's fantasy football. He needs this goal to stand.
I do, and it looks, we can see Nketiah on the side of the pitch as the triple substitution coming from Arsenal, Smith Rowe, Tomiyasu, but it looks like this could be Jesus' last act of the afternoon.
So this is not going to stand. That is so tight. I mean, we've all seen them. It's one of those toenail decisions. Gabriel Jesus denied a very well take. I mean, he took it brilliantly, but VAR has determined he was a fraction offside. Here comes that triple change anyway. So Eddie Nketiah is going to come on, Takahiro Tomiyasu and Emile Smith Rowe, and evidence of the strength of Arsenal's squad these days. And these 3 players are going to come on. So let's have a look at who's going to go off. Martinelli will make way for Nketiah. It's the first 2 numbers put up on the board. Eddie Nketiah, who got a run in the team at the back end of last season when Aubameyang had been sold and Lacazette had fallen out of favour. He's got 5 goals in his last 7 Premier League games last season, Eddie Nketiah, but that's before they brought in Gabriel Jesus, of course. They are going to take off Ben White, so it will be Tomiyasu who'll go in at right back in place of Ben White, who I thought did very well again today in that position. And the third change with Smith Rowe will be in place of Odegaard, so the captain's gone off as well. So Martinelli, White and Odegaard, the three who've gone off, and Nketiah, Tomiyasu and Smith Rowe on for Arsenal. Fresh legs as they look to see this out. They thought they had made it 4-0, quarter of an hour to play. It is Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3.
3-0 up. What a way to freshen up your forward line. It's not bad, is it? They have got strength in depth. I don't think they've got that out and out number 9. I don't think they've got a replacement for if Jesus get injured, but they have got players around them. Very, very good, strong players waiting in the wings at Arsenal.
Emil Smith Rowe's an interesting one. I mean, he absolutely burst onto the scene, and he looked fantastic in his early days for Arsenal. He's had a few injury problems last season, and now with others playing so well, he's going to have to be patient for game time. And in a World Cup year, and a guy who's already got 3 caps for England, he'll want to see action on the pitch. I mean, he's got to impress in these cameos, this sort of situation.
Yes, he will, and he'll feel that pressure, but I without doubt feel as though Arsenal is the right place for him to progress his career. Arteta will look after him, he'll put him in at the right times, and he will grow into a first team player for Arsenal that is on the team sheet week in, week out, but now's just not his time.
Yeah. Smith Rowe, who's come on in place of Odegaard, and he's playing that attacking midfield role just in behind Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus. Only Bukayo Saka got more goals for Arsenal last season than Emil Smith Rowe. Bournemouth battling on 3-0 down. Across the fizzes along the edge of the penalty area is cleared away by Saka. Long clearance into the Bournemouth half, picked up by Lloyd Kelly from the Bristol City player, Bournemouth's number 5. He rolls it short to his right hand side to Chris Mepamou is in, and Bournemouth team that lost to Arsenal the Emirates by 5 goals to 1 3 years ago. It's not quite that bad here today. Might have been at that Gabriel Jesus goal being allowed to stand. Bournemouth have possession away to our left hand side. Ball play to Adam Smith, who up ahead of him has got Tavernier 10 yards outside the penalty area. The Bournemouth attack always give away to Gabriel Jesus, who really does pounce in situations like that. He does a shuttle run up to a player, and then when they play the pass, he stretches out and he makes the interception. Looks like it's going to be offside against Nketiah. Doesn't get to him anyway. Ball went out of play, but had it done so, he would have been offside. The flag would have been raised. I'm quite certain of that.
And in that Bournemouth possession, I just noticed we're obviously in the 75th minute, and Gabriel Jesus is such an honest player. He's still doing things right, because he could have closed off the other centre half, but he didn't. He dropped in 2 foot and he closed off the last midfield player for Bournemouth, meaning that the ball went out to the other centre back and he had to do a doggy. It would have been really easy for him to be lazy and close off the other centre back and let it go into midfield and let somebody else deal with it, but no, he took the right option. He did the right thing. He done the hard thing.
That's a mistake at the back for Arsenal. Another of those today, despite the good scoreline. And a chance for Tavernier to shoot, and it hits the advertising boards and hits the rear of the net. Bounced back on. The net furled. 1 or 2 thought it might have been in a game that Bournemouth have had no chances at all. That certainly counts as one of their better opportunities, and Arsenal will be disappointed. Yes, they're 3-0 up, but another mistake at the back that gave away a needless opportunity.
Yes, it was a little bit of sloppiness at Arsenal. I mean, it's acceptable to a certain extent at this moment in the time, and Kiefer Moore slips Tavernier in there, but the young man just rushes. He knows he's in the ascendancy in the Arsenal box. He's not been in there much this afternoon, and he just snatches at the chance and needs to settle down when he gets into those clinical positions.
Tomiyasu up to Saka. Good work by Ryan Christie, who's come on for Phil Billing. Christie goes away from Partey and plays a nice pass to the right. Tavernier slipped just as the ball came to him, but Smith has run along outside him and managed to keep it alive here for Bournemouth. Delivers the ball in towards Kiefer Moore. A header on target, diving out to his left was Aaron Ramsdale to push it out. That's the most acrobatic save he's had to make today. I wonder, was it going just wide? The goalkeeper had to be sure. He puts it out for a Bournemouth corner.
Yes, I think it was just drifting wide, but the big man got his head on it, felt it back across the goal, and Ramsdale wasn't going to take any chances. palms it out for a corner.
6:06 to come after the live football here on 5 Live. Corner to Bournemouth. Tavernier to take, left-footed, in swinging. Ramsdale stayed on his line and just managed to punch it away as it goes out for another corner on the left-hand side. A few late questions being asked of Arsenal. I don't think the result of this game is in much doubt, but they would love to keep a clean sheet here. You know, last season Arsenal conceded as many goals as Watford, who were relegated. They conceded more goals than Burnley, who were also relegated. So they need to shore it up if they are to challenge for this Champions League place and maybe more this season. Here comes the latest corner. Played in by Tavernier from the left-hand side. Picks up Kiefer Moore the back stick. He tried to nod it back into the centre, but headed away by Emile Smith-Rowe. Chance of a counter-attack. Eddie Nketiah is well challenged by Lewis Cook. Cook's been good since coming on at half-time, and that's going to be an Arsenal throw-in on the far side.
Yes, he has indeed. He's like we said about the foothold in the game. They just need to get their foot on the ball, and he has brought that. He's brought a little bit of bite, but just not quite enough for Bournemouth. I mean, I feel as though if those changes were made maybe halfway through the first half, this game could have been different.
Throw in for Arsenal. Nketiah gives it back to Zinchenko. Gabriel Jesus tried a little step over. He wanted to elude Mepham. Mepham had seen that before and manages to shut it down. That was like what was it, Vinicius Junior against Fernandinho in the Champions League semi-final. Little step over and tried to skip around the other way, but the defender wasn't buying it on that occasion. Kelly has possession on the edge of the penalty area. That shadow on the pitch, which we mentioned, was slowly creeping its way across. It is nearly taking over all of the playing surface now as the sun dips on this beautiful August evening on the south coast. Bournemouth are about to lose at home for the first time back in the Premier League. First time in a long time, because their home form here last season, the Championship, was brilliant. But these are different standards now. It's a different level. And there's going to be days like this back up in the Premier League for any newly promoted club. Bournemouth have got the experience of being in the top flight in recent seasons, and it'll be really interesting to see how they do harness that experience from the past and go about things over this campaign. Here comes Lewis Cook. There should have been plenty of energy still in the Bournemouth team despite being these 3 goals down. 9 minutes to play. Smith onto Tavernier. Zinchenko challenges him and does very well. Zinchenko wins it back for Arsenal. Here comes Nketiah over the halfway line on the left, and again it's Cook. Cook, who runs across there, wins the ball and plays it back to Travis. He's been really good since coming on.
Yeah, he has. He's been a positive for Bournemouth, and I'm sure he's sending a message out there to his manager Scott Parker. But going back to the difference between the Championship and the Premier League, I was here when they got promoted out of the Championship, and there was a feel-good factor around the place. But listen, these fans they've been in the Premier League. They understand that the afternoons like this are possible. Losing back-to-back games is possible, but they will stick with them. They're still buoyant, they're still loud, and they're still supporting their club, which is the main thing.
That's good work. Christie was that a nutmeg on Thomas Partey. He's got away from him anyway, attacking the penalty area, plays a ball behind Tavernier. That's disappointing for Bournemouth. They would love the consolation of a goal here, something for the fans to cheer late on. Christie did brilliantly well to break from inside his own half, but his pass was poor. They come again, the home side Bournemouth, with Jadon Anthony on the left-hand side with the yellow boots. Gives it short to Jordan Zamora. Tomiyasu's working hard to limit the space available to him. Bournemouth must retreat back to the central defender Lloyd Kelly. Back to Anthony on the left-hand side. Christie full of running since coming on. And that's a ball in towards the feet of Kiefer Moore, who does a fancy little flick. Christie returns it to Moore. Nice interchange between those two. To the byline on the left-hand side. Zamora now joins in. Into the penalty area. Cuts back on Saka. Tries to catch the keeper out of the near post. But Aaron Ramsdale saw the danger. It was a scuff shot anyway. And a comfortable save in the end against his old team. It remains Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3.
And when Zamora cuts back into that right foot, he has got options in the middle, but he tries to catch Ramsdale out of his near post. But there's not enough power on the shot, and it just bobbles into the Arsenal goalkeeper's grasp.
Earlier on today in the Premier League, Tottenham beat Wolves at the time they went to the top of the table. Harry Kane with the goal. As a cross here from Kiefer Moore is headed away by Saliba, one of Arsenal's goal scorers here this afternoon. Crystal Palace continuing a good start to the season for Patrick Vieira. 3-1 win against Aston Villa, who've now lost 2 out of 3. More hesitation on the edge of the own penalty area by Arsenal here. They've given away a free kick. Thomas Partey unable to clear the ball away without committing the foul, I think, on Ryan Christie. And this is a free kick that might even be within shooting position. It was Christie who party fouled.
Yes, Arsenal just seem like they're preserving energy. It looks like they're done for the afternoon. They're sitting in and they're becoming a little bit sloppy, I would say. Mikel Arteta will not be happy with that. He'll want them to manage this game better and score more goals.
The number for 606 0808 5909 693. We'll try to bring you some reaction from both managers into that programme once this game is finished here at the Vitality Stadium. But Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage ready to take your calls right now. Bournemouth have got this free kick. The wall is erected a few paces inside the penalty area, slightly left of centre, but only very slightly. Nice angle here for the right foot of Jayden Anthony, maybe, who has placed the ball here. Tavernier offering a left-footed option. Ramsdale, who is 5 minutes away from a clean sheet on his return to his old stomping ground at the Vitality Stadium, has prowled across twice, 3 times now, over to that post to make sure he's got the wall at the right angle. Neil Smith-Rowe is lying down as the draft excluder as well.
I was just going to point that out there.
The most glamorous job in football, lying on the deck as the wall jumps to make sure nothing squirts underneath. So will it be Anthony's right foot or Tavernier's left? It's Tavernier's left! Ooh, it hits the side netting. He gave it some smack, low and hard and fizzing through, but the wall was well located. And from Tavernier, looking for his first goal for Bournemouth, that is just wide.
Yes, perfect lining up of a wall from Ramsdale. It just hits the side netting as it swings back in from Tavernier, but because of where the wall was, it was never going to creep inside that post. Good goalkeeping from Ramsdale.
Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3. Arsenal fans continuing to sing and dance in the sunshine. They'll enjoy their journey back up to the capital. As Nketiah tries to flick it on to Saka. Good touch out to Gabriel Jesus on the right-hand side. Here is Saka near the byline. Looks up and sees that Tomiyasu is in support behind him. Bournemouth getting bodies back. Everyone, including Kiefer Moore, back inside their final third now. Zinchenko has it on the left-hand side. Keely Hutchinson getting ready to go for gold in the women's 800-metre final, and we're going to check in with the European Athletics very shortly for that. But here, for the moment at the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3, and Arsenal on the attack as Tomiyasu plays it forward. Headed by Mepham is weak. Straight to Xhaka. Pulls it back. Gabriel Jesus! Saved by Mark Travers. 1-on-1. You'd have put your mortgage on Gabriel Jesus scoring there. It's a brilliant save, but it should have been 4-0.
Yes, it should indeed. He gets his second sight of goal. And Mark Travers stands up well. I thought he was going to drill it across, but he doesn't. Hit it right at the Bournemouth goalkeeper, and it's a good clearance in the end from Bournemouth.
Okay, just over 3 minutes of normal time to go here. Let's go live to Munich to join Catherine Merry for the women's 800-metre final.
We are up and running. The Olympic, World and Commonwealth silver medalist Keely Hodgkinson is 200 metres into the women's 800-metre European final. She took it out over the first 150 metres, but has now settled into 4th place. Gemma Reekie and Alex Bell in this final for Great Britain and Northern Ireland, but it's the German Herring who's leading the way after the first 300 metres.
Yeah, the tall German is getting the backing of this almost capacity crowd. Listen to the noise. Lamont from France, silver medalist last time around, is sitting on her shoulder, but look at Keely. She's sitting there in lane 3. She'll hear the bell. 400 metres to go, Kath.
58.5 at 400 metres. Herring the German leads. Lamont of France in silver at the moment. Reekie and Hodgkinson in 3rd and 4th. Down the back straight, the floodlights of the Olympic Stadium here in Munich. They're passing 2 beautiful rainbows down the final 300-metre stretch, and it's the German that's dying, and here goes Keely Hodgkinson.
Yeah, she's making a move now. 250 metres to go on the shoulder of the French woman. Herring, the German, is starting to falter, but Keely Hodgkinson hits the front.
Hodgkinson, Reekie's gone with Hodgkinson. Herring's fading in 3rd for Germany. It's a battle of the Brits here in Munich. 100 metres to go. Is Keely Hodgkinson going to win the global gold? Hodgkinson's pulling away by 2 metres, 3 metres. Lamont of France is closing fast. She's passing Gemma Reekie for the silver. Keely Hodgkinson Hodgkinson with a 6-metre lead, going to take the gold for the British team. The Olympic, World and Commonwealth silver medalist has a gold medal, 1:59.04.
Finally, the silver lady has turned it into gold under the rainbows here in the Olympic Stadium. A phenomenal run from the young 20-year-old. She's now European outdoor champion to go with her indoor title as well.
She's 4 years younger than anybody else in this European final. The British record holder wins gold, 1:59.04. The Le Mans of France, 1:59.45. And the Polish athlete Anna Welgosz gets the bronze. Gemma Ricci finishes in 5th, just ahead of Alex Bell.
Thanks very much. Back here at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3, and we have 30 seconds to play. Keely Hutchinson, who's best friends, I'm told, with Ella Toone. They'll be comparing medals. Here is a chance for Nketiah into the penalty area. Shoots and saved by Tavares. That's a few saves Tavares has made now in this second half. That one wasn't quite as forceful, and the goalkeeper down to his left was able to push it away. But Arsenal, who've made another couple of changes while we were away there, Tierney and Sambi Lokonga's come on, and they've been banging on the door for this fourth goal. Glenn Murray.
Yes, they have, and Nketiah gets away there, just lacks a little bit of conviction, and I know the young man will be kicking himself, because that was a big opportunity to open the account for the season.
If you're just joining our coverage in 5 Live, 2 goals from Odegaard inside the first 11 minutes. Lovely strike from William Saliba, his first for Arsenal in the early stages of the second half. Gabriel Jesus had a goal disallowed for a tight offside as well. And it is back to the drawing board for Bournemouth after the 4-0 defeat to Manchester City last weekend. 3-0 down here as we are inside the 4 minutes being added on for stoppages at the end of the game. 6:06 coming up with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Your chance to get involved, to air your views on 5 Live tonight. Call 08085909693 to get on and talk to Robbie and Chris this evening on 5 Live.
I'm sure the lines will be hot with Arsenal going to win the league. What do you think?
I think that would be the topic. It's the hope that kills you. So long out of that conversation. When is the last time we spoke about Arsenal being in a title contention? And these are very, very early days, but having lost their first 3 in a row last season, they're about to win their first 3 in a row. With Manchester City playing tomorrow, Arsenal will be top of the Premier League tonight, and it is, at the very least, it is something to build on for Mikel Arteta. He won't be getting too carried away, but we were talking earlier about that Arsenal documentary and the little cartoons and the little drawings that he does on the whiteboards. He'll be doing even more of them now. If it's working, keep doing it. And this Arsenal team are playing with confidence. There is still 1 or 2 defensive errors which I think will be tested when they come up against the very best teams, but there is no doubt a huge improvement from recent campaigns for Arsenal now.
I think probably, Conor, that the defensive slip-ups that we've seen this afternoon is probably due to the circumstances of the game and not being under any real pressure. They've been comfortable throughout. They put the game to bed, should I say, quite early on in this tie, and it was just about managing it from that point on.
Smith's cross on the right hand side, looking for keeper Moore, in love a goal, and his header again probably going off target. Ramsdale had to be sure. He dives out to his left and he makes the save anyway. Looking for his second Premier League goal of the season. Kiefer Moore, he scored against Aston Villa here on the opening weekend. He's such a big target, and he did get his head onto it, and that's a few times that they've picked him out, and that'll be a good weapon over the course of the season for Bournemouth.
Yeah, it will, and I expected to see more of that, but where Arsenal did really well was they didn't let Bournemouth get a foot on the ball to even get up the pitch to be able to cross it. They pressed so high, they cut off that source, that cross to Moore, and as we can see, when they do get that ball into the box, the big man's dominant.
Last time Bournemouth were in the Premier League, they started well. That was the 1920 season. They had 3 wins from their opening 6 games, but then they only picked up another 2 wins in the next 17 matches, and it all went awry down towards relegation. This time round, they are set to start with 3 points from the opening 3 games, and as you said earlier, Glenn, if you offered them that, given the opponents that they have to play against, they might well have taken that for the start of the season. It has certainly not been a terrible start, but it is a reminder of the reality of how difficult it is in the Premier League.
It is indeed, and the step up is massive to begin with, but I think that it's getting bigger with the addition of VAR and the finances in the Premier League. That gap is vast. but the one thing that Bournemouth have got is a little bit of Premier League experience, and that can go a long way.
Deep in stoppage time here at the Vitality Stadium. Arsenal 3-0 in front. And Bournemouth, who had been unbeaten in their last 11 home league games stretching back into last season, the club's best unbeaten home run for 9 years, is about to come to an end here as Nketiah looks for Emil Smith-Rowe into the penalty area. Again a shot on target, but a soft one. Comfortable save for the goalkeeper Travers. A side-footed effort from Smith-Rowe didn't have any power.
Lacked power and conviction as he got away there. The way he approached it, I thought he was going to cut in and shoot with his left, but he took what was ultimately a weak effort on target, and that was the last action of the game.
That is it. The full-time whistle blows, and it's 3 wins out of 3 for Arsenal. The perfect start to the new campaign for Mikel Arteta continues. 2 goals for Martin Odegaard, good and early to set the agenda. Gabriel Jesus impressing again. No goal for him, but some sublime touches you'll see on Match of the Day later. It is now back-to-back defeats for Bournemouth, both against 2 of the big-name clubs in the Premier League. It was Manchester City last weekend, Arsenal today. Next weekend in the Premier League, Bournemouth face Liverpool. They are back in the big time, all right. They are facing the big boys, and they have been beaten here by 3 goals to